of admissions, so I may have gotten a hold of a couple of you. And I work more in the west side of the state of Washington. So anywhere students from North Seattle, King County, maybe from the east side of King and Bellevue, up to maybe Everett, all the way up to Bellingham, Mount Vernon. And if we have any students joining us from Hawaii, I will be your person. You've all heard me talk a lot already, so I kind of want to pass it over and introduce some of our staff that are joining us here today. So first, I'll start off with David Bowman, who is the Dean of CSTEM. David, take it away and introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, thanks everyone for coming in. My name is David Bowman. I'm the Dean of the College of STEM. My job is to oversee all of the programs in the science and engineering fields for the college and work with the department to make sure that you all have a great experience as students at Eastern and that you can get equipped to do everything you need to succeed in your goals in life. I'm going to introduce really quickly a little bit about the college and then turn over to Adon to introduce the faculty and students that we have here. So let's see if we got that sharing. There we go. So yeah, thanks again for joining us. This is actually the Computing and Engineering building here on the main Cheney campus. I really wish we could be there with you now, but until that time, we'll show you a little bit about what we do. We really, in the College of STEM at Eastern, we really focus a lot on helping our students to get their goals that they want to do towards their next step in their life, whether that's to get into the workforce or to graduate school. We're a very hands-on college that really is very focused on getting you to accomplish what your goals are. The college includes a few different departments that offer degrees in biology, chemistry, biochemistry, computer science, data science, various engineering fields, electrical, mechanical engineering technology, applied technology, manufacturing technology, you can see them all there, environmental science, geology, math, natural science if you want to be a K-12 teacher, and physics. And the graph on the right you see there, the pie chart sort of shows where our biggest majors are. Engineering, biology, and computer science are really big popular majors. They're very obvious for people sort of understand the career goals that you have in many of those majors. But we have a lot of other programs that are producing fantastic contributions to our society, and many of them have faculty and students here to talk about today. My particular background, I'm a geophysicist, so I have a background in geology and physics. I actually study earthquakes. That's what most of my research has been. So I have sort of feet in both of those two departments. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of those things. I also want to call out some of the programs that we have that people may not be as familiar with. Programs like Visual Communication Design, VCD, on the screen here. Those are really kind of a graphic arts type of program. It's fundamentally an art program, but housed within the STEM college. And they do a lot of wonderful things like user interface design for your iPhone or for your Android, or website development. They do a lot of work with advertising agencies and things like that. It's a great program, and it's one of the really unique things that Eastern's College of STEM has to offer is that art-focused degree housed within an engineering and science colleges, which is really unique. Biochem, chemistry, biochemistry. A lot of people, chemistry. You may have taken chemistry classes in high school. One of the things that's unique about our programs here is the close cooperation we have with the Washington State Crime Labs. The state crime labs are located right across the street from campus, and many of the people who work in the state crime labs actually teach in our chemistry and biochemistry programs. And a lot of our chem majors go on to work in clinical lab settings. They may go on to med school or pharmacy school, and many of them go on to try to work in crime labs. Environmental science, I think we've got a couple of faculty and students here who are engaged with those programs. I'll hold off on that, as well as geology. And I know we also have some faculty here from math, and I'll let Dr. Weiser talk about the engineering programs. So that just gives you a quick overview of the degrees that we offer in STEM. And our approach is really hands-on. You know, the college experience is more than, it's different than what you get in high school, where you learn about a lot of things. You may do a little lab assignment every once in a while where you get to be hands-on. Our degrees are all very hands-on. You don't just learn about science and engineering from a book, you actually do it. Whether you're a biology or environmental science major working out at the National Wildlife Refuge with wildlife management, it's a strong program that we have in wildlife management here at Eastern, or working in industrial robotics through the engineering programs, doing hands-on chemistry, you know, out in the field if you're a geology major. It's very hands-on is our approach to things, where you're not just learning about science and engineering, you're doing science and engineering. We're very career focused. We want to help you achieve your goals, whether that's to getting a job after graduating or going to grad school after graduating. Internships and capstones are required for all students in computer science, engineering, and design, and all of the majors require students to have a capstone experience. That may be a research project, that may be a special project that you do as a team, and the faculty will be able to talk about some of those things. We have a very strong internship program to help students get engaged with local industry, to find you know, careers that they may be interested in, and very close relationships with a lot of the companies throughout Eastern Washington, where we have a lot of our students go to work while they're students. And I think this is a really interesting fact I love to point out. This is from our survey of our students after graduating. 93% of our STEM majors from Eastern are employed or in graduate school after graduation. That's a pretty phenomenal number. We're really proud of our success helping our students move to their next step in life. Very applied even in the engineering, but the same thing in the sciences. A lot of our science majors go out and do things that are, you know, really important in the real world out there, whether it's doing environmental remediation work down in Tri-Cities and Hanford. You know, we have opportunities, as I mentioned, with Turnbull, very, very focused on getting you engaged in what you'll be doing once you're done being a student. I mentioned the industry connections. I won't talk about that more. But again, I just really want to emphasize, this is, I think, one of the most important things for you as prospective students to understand. I got some pie charts up there, but we're really, really focused on helping you get to your next step, get into that career after you graduate from Eastern, and do something that's related to what you do. And that's this pie chart over here on the right. It may not, you know, what that's telling you is that our students that are a STEM major, yeah, most of them are getting a job or going to grad school, but they're not just getting a job, they're getting a job in a STEM related field. You know, the overwhelming majority of our students are saying that the job that they got when they graduated is actually related to their degree. It's not just getting a job at Starbucks. Starbucks is great. I love Starbucks. I couldn't live without Starbucks. But if you're a chemistry major, you probably want to get a job that has to do with your chemistry degree. If you're an engineering major, you probably want to get a job that's related to engineering. That's what our students do. And we're super proud of that. And part of the reason why is that we really want you, when you graduate with your experience here in STEM, we want you to graduate with not just a diploma, but a resume with experiences that relate directly to what you're doing. That's what makes a difference to employers. That's what we do. And we'd love to have you come join us. And with that, I will turn over to Adon.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bowman, for kind of sharing, you know, what encompasses the whole CSTEM program. I think a lot of students are really excited to kind of learn a lot more. But going forward, right, we want to make sure that we introduce everyone else. So I want to kind of make sure that, you know, we have some people from our biology department. So Becky Brown, if you can probably just unmute yourself and, you know, introduce what you do, what really gets you excited about the biology program.
So yeah, hi, I'm Becky Brown, and thanks very much for coming. I actually I come from this as a plant ecologist and was an environmental science major, so I kind of can talk about both of those things. And what gets me excited about our program is that we have a lot of different hands-on research opportunities that students can do. So We have degree options that encompass everything from pre-med, pre-dent to biotechnology to, you know, environmental science with a biology emphasis. And a lot of our faculty, well, all of our faculty are engaged in research, and we encourage students to come work on directed study research projects, and many of them have been very successful. So Christina here, I don't know if she minds if I brag about her a little bit, but she's just been accepted into 7 PhD programs. And so yeah, I guess that's a start to it. You know, Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge is what you can see right behind me. And we are the only university in the country to have a laboratory right there at the refuge. And so we allow students to come out there, have classroom experiences. And I think that's pretty fantastic. And yeah, I'll stop with that for now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Becky. So for those students, right, you want to know more about the biotech background, wildlife, I think Becky will be a great resource to be able to ask and kind of get more information. All right. So we're going to move on forward. We're going to turn it over to Marty Weiser, Dr. Weiser, who is part of the engineering department. Marty, how about you kind of just explain a little more about your department and what you do?
Okay, well, the engineering department is a very diverse department, as was listed on the slide, and very, very hands-on. And one of the things I think that's important is that about 3/4 of our faculty have industrial experience, sometimes just a little bit. Others, it says, like myself, 14 years in industry, came back to education to teach. Many faculty like that. So it gives us a lot of real world experience to help pass along. And we have an awful lot of labs that are hands-on. It's not just a simulation. You actually go in, work with the equipment, do things. We have a machine shop that our mechanical engineering, manufacturing students work in. We actually build the things. We don't just design them, we build them. So that's important. The VCD design group, they work an awful lot with different clients around. They get real world experience building things for, or, you know, putting together media packages for companies while they're in school. So they have a real package right out in front of them. So myself, this is, my background's actually in materials. I'm part of the mechanical group primarily. And the picture you saw with a couple rockets, that was a team I led down to Utah, where we competed in a big international competition. Previous year, we'd done fairly well. We placed third in the world out of 31 teams. That was kind of fun. The second year, we didn't do quite as well because we pushed the envelope a little hard and we shredded a rocket, which was kind of fun, but you know, a little disappointing too. So, but that's real world experience. I'll turn it back to Adon.
Awesome. And like just what Marty said, and what really reiterate what David said, if you really want to get your hands dirty and really kind of want to go and do the things that you love, I think you're going to get a lot of experience and a lot of mishaps, but also learning lessons from the CSTEM department that are really going to shape your education while you're here at Eastern. So great to hear more things, but I'm pretty sure you're tired of me talking, right? So I want to turn it over to someone new. We have Jackie Coombs from the math department. Jackie, can you introduce yourself and kind of explain more what you do at the math department?
Hi, everyone. I am math professor who's been at Eastern for a very long time. I specialize in secondary math education, but I see somebody's asking questions about data science. Data science is one of our newest programs, and it includes some computer science classes. It's a pretty deep, strong program with lots of math, lots of statistics, some hands-on, some opportunities to do internships. So same thing with all of our programs, our future teachers. So we have 3 programs in education alone. That would be majors in elementary math, secondary math, and middle level math. But our students went to a regional conference last year, our education students, our math education. They held their own conference this year, as did Women in STEM, held their own conference at Eastern this year. So 2 of our students went to Cal Poly and UW to do internships, research internships, and with scientists so that they could bring back and teach lessons to K-12 students. So those were paid summer internships. We have quite a few hands-on, strong programs, and we really know all the teachers in the area, so we're pretty well connected to help future teachers connect to them. And same thing with the internships, well connected to businesses out there, so that our future our math graduates and data science graduates can do internships.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And like you got to say, I really enjoyed the beach side there. Makes me kind of want to get done with this quarantine so I can just go visit a beach somewhere. So thanks for that, Jackie. And for a reminder for everyone joining in, if you're joining us from a PC or your laptop, you can see all our faces here. If you want to see everyone who's actually zooming in with you as well in the webinar, if you're joining us through a mobile phone, through iPhone, or through an Android, make sure to scroll left and right and you can see all of our faces. So moving on forward, I want to hear a little more about the Geology Department. So I'm going to call on my friend over here, Chad Pritchard, and you kind of explain a little more about what experiences and opportunities the Geology Department offers.
Well, thank you, Adon. Thank you, students, very much for coming today. It's always nice to talk about geology and Eastern Go Eags. Geology is super fun because we are, like what Dr. Bowman and everybody has said, we're out in the field all the time. I can't wait to hear what Chelsea has to say. She's working at the USGS. Our geology program has one of the very few USGS cooperatives. I think there's only 2 or 3 left, and the other 2 would be University of Arizona and I think Colorado School of Mines. 2 very, very impressive schools, but not quite as impressive as Eastern Washington University, because our students are literally all out there doing research. We just published 2 papers this year on kind of cutting edge research with students. Chelsea gets paid over the summer working for the USGS. We just published a paper about some GIS modeling that one of our old students did an internship with Avista, which is an energy company. He worked there for 2 years, and then now he's working for a consultant for Avista, getting paid more than I do. No, but life is good. I mean, our students are doing great things, and we love it. We work with Fish and Wildlife, Lands Council. Many of you in the newspaper read about PFAS contamination in groundwater, polyfluoroalkyl substances. And we do a lot of work with the EPA, with the Washington Department of Ecology, and our students are all part of that. Yes, and we also have geology as a BS, a BA. We work with environmental science and geology. We have a minor in geology, and then BAE, which is an earth science education in geology and earth sciences. It's just an amazing program. And they're all working, and I'm trying to make sure that we get our drone program worked with everything, so everybody can go out and fly drones, not in a creepy way, but in a really good way, where we can make 3D models, we can make very informative videos, and then we can also make some very cool thermal imagery of where groundwater seeps into surface water and where surface water dissipates off into the ground, and different water bodies mixed together. It's fascinating, and there's so much we can do out here in Eastern Washington. We live in a natural laboratory here. I mean, there's just beautiful rocks, beautiful structures, and very little research has been done in this area. So I hope you get a chance to come out and at least take Geology 100, if not become a major. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, that's a lot to kind of know more about the Geology Department. Hopefully you swayed some students that are up in the air to kind of go into geology, Chad. So I just as a reminder to all the students, I know you're already asking some questions. We got 2 more introductions from students, and we're going to turn it over straight to student questions, all right? So hold on a little more. We're actually going to get some students who actually are at Eastern, actual students, talk about what their experiences are like, what opportunities they're going through, and we're going to turn it over to straight Q&A with everyone here, all right? So first, you know, Mr. Pritchard kind of shared a little bit more about you, Chelsea. So how about you unmute yourself and tell us why you went to geology and, you know, what are you doing?
Yeah, hello. My name's Chelsea. My major is geology, but I'm also minoring in biology and environmental science. And I'm a junior here. I'm from Aberdeen, Washington originally, so I'm pretty far away from home. And currently I am our geology club president. I am working on research with Dr. Pritchard, and I am a student intern at the U.S. Geologic Survey with their mineral resources program. So I work a lot with their researchers there and help them identify drill core and stuff like that. I'm also a geology TA, that too. And I came to Eastern mostly, I was a biology major coming here. And when I took my first geology class, I really liked it. And I decided to change my major. And so that's kind of like a big tip I have, is to not get yourself stuck in a position where where you feel like you can't do anything else rather than what you had already set yourself up for.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for introducing Chelsea. Like you said, I think we even have some friendly competition between some of our staff. I think we're all here to help you as much as we can. And some of them would want to be like, hey, you know, have you thought about biology or have you thought about engineering? If you haven't, take my intro class because I might hook you in and you might be set for something of a new adventure. So last but not least, I want to make sure I introduce the one Christina, who is bragging a little more about kind of her PhD candidacy. So Christina, how about you unmute yourself and just introduce what you do and how your route has been going through college?
Yeah, thanks, Adon. So my name is Christina. So I actually did my undergraduate at Eastern as well. So I did a Bachelor of Science in Biology, specifically the biotechnology track. And I worked in a lot of different labs as an undergraduate, actually 4 different labs over a span of about 2.5 years. So with all of our faculty here talking about the hands-on experience within our C-STEM programs, students really have opportunities to learn and expand their critical thinking, their collaboration, as well as their communication skills. So during my time as an undergraduate, I also participated in the Mcnair Scholars Program. So the Mcnair Scholars Program is a federally funded program for first-generation low-income and/or underrepresented students to help them get into academic positions and go on to graduate training and diversify academia. So during my time at Mcnair, I learned a lot and participated in a lot of professional development seminars, went and presented at several conferences with all the research that I did. And then I decided, hey, I want to go to graduate school. And so I pursued a Master's of Science at Eastern. So now I am a second-year graduate student in the program, and I'm working under Dr. Javier Ochoa Repra. And we are studying different therapeutic approaches for neuroinflammation in multiple sclerosis. And I've had the opportunity to work on 2 different publications during my work. So we are definitely making scientific contributions here at Eastern. And a little bit about, was there anything else I was supposed to address? I already forgot.
I think you did an amazing job.
Okay.
As you can hear, right, from
my
all the
PhD
students,
programs. I forgot,
yeah.
PhD. Yeah, so I applied to 10 PhD programs and I actually got into 9 of them. So I'm really excited. So I'll be going to Emory University this fall in neuroscience.
Wow, I gotta say, I'm amazed by what everyone does here. So all the students, right, everyone kind of watching, as you can tell, you're gonna do stuff. I think that's the one thing that everyone here said. You either do stuff or you're doing things, you're presenting, you're working with people, and if you're thinking to yourself, I've always wanted that. I'm in high school right now, I'm a senior, right? And I wanna be able to kind of be active. I know right now we're not, probably because a lot of us are indoors, but once you become to Eastern and you become a C-STEM major, you're gonna become active, you're gonna be working, you're gonna do hands-on, as a good old saying, right? You're gonna get your hands dirty. And I think that's really amazing and cool what everyone does here. So right now we're gonna turn it over to some questions. And I wanna moderate and kind of just point the questions at to some of the people here. So the first question we had was from Matt, right? Matt was wondering about what sorts of hands-on opportunities does data analytics program? And I think Mr. Bowman wanted to answer that. So David, anything you wanna answer for Matt?
Sure. So, and Dr. Coombs mentioned that a little bit in hers as well. Data analytics. So data analytics is a program that exists within the business school. It's in, it is located in Spokane. But there's a related field called data science that Dr. Coombs mentioned in math. And let me clarify a little bit of what those differences are. Data analytics tends to be people that will work using data, software programs to help understand the flow of information to make informed decisions for businesses. Oftentimes, we employ people here at the university to do data analytics to understand our enrollment and things like this. So that's what a data analytics, it's typically housed within a business program, which is the way that is here at Eastern. And it's offered in partnership with Microsoft. So that students who are in that data analytics program have the opportunity to get a Microsoft Data Analytics certificate at the same time that they're working on their degree. It's a great program. Data science is a little different. That's housed largely in math and a collaboration between math and computer science. And somebody also asked about computer science. Data science sort of lives in that intersection between math and computer science. When people do data analytics, they're using the tools that are created by data scientists. The data scientists are really taking a much deeper look into data flows and how we use data to inform everything in our daily life. You use data science every day, you just don't know it. Have you ever Googled anything? That's data science. It's looking at huge amounts of information and how to turn it into something usable that we can use in our everyday. It's an explosive growth field, and we're really proud of that data science program that we have joint between math and computer science.
Awesome. Well, thank you, David. It looks like I think you're really giving good, informative answers, and hopefully Matt appreciated that. So I kind of want to move on with some of the questions. And Dr. Weiser, I think this one's kind of set for you. There's been kind of some speculation and talks about how the STEM program is moving to Spokane campus. I know we do maybe have some there. Anything you want to touch on that, Dr. Weiser?
Well, I should have mentioned that because that's probably one of the more exciting developments in recent history, that our electrical engineering and visual communications design programs are moving to a brand new building downtown Spokane, along with computer science. So they'll move down there, and it's the Catalyst Project's what it's known as, put up by Avista and McKinstry. Avista's the power company. McKinstry's a big building automation company. And it's a state-of-the-art building that is designed to be net zero energy. We're really excited about that. It is not too far from the Cheney campus. It's about 15, 16 miles. There's good bus service. And for the most part, most of those programs will be, it'll be the sophomore and higher levels classes will be down there. Some of those introductory freshman level classes will still be out in Cheney, but there will be certain classes that are set up so they can be taken either location as, and we're still working some of those bugs out, but I think it's going to be a great opportunity for everyone. And one of the big reasons for it is it puts the students closer to the clients, the internship opportunities for the students. So you have a real short commute, and we can bring industry into that building to work directly with you.
Awesome, that's great to hear. So like we're going to reiterate many, many times, right? We want to make sure that you get hands-on experience and that you can actually be connected to the next step in life, right? Because there's a life after graduation. It's not just celebrating woohoo and being like, well, what now? We want to make sure that you can get experience working right now as an undergrad student, right? Even starting as a sophomore, junior, maybe as a senior course, and kind of propelling you to that next step in life, where as an employer and making a difference, right, in life. So Dr. Weiser, thanks for explaining that a little more about how our programs is elevating itself, I should say, right, into the stratosphere. So thanks on that. But I'm gonna refer back to maybe now Mr. Bowman, right? We have another question. It was from Evelyn itself. She said she wanted to know more about the computer science program. So can you just give us a good like 1 minute kind of wrap up of what the computer science program is at Eastern?
Sure. So our computer science program is one of the biggest majors. As Dr. Weiser said, they're going to be moving into the Spokane campus starting next year. The computer science program is really helping people learn how to program and how to do development. And we have a big program in cybersecurity. In fact, we are en route to, within the next couple of years, be certified as a cybersecurity center of excellence by the Defense Department. We just had our students compete in a national cybersecurity competition where one of our EWU students finished 5th in the nation out of 500 students in a cybersecurity competition. So we're really proud of that program. The application development, software development, they work on understanding how to program and work within cloud computing environments. We have students working all over the region, companies like F5 Networks, companies like Microsoft and Google, Amazon. You probably haven't heard of those companies, but they're all employ our students to do software development and application development and cybersecurity. Very hands-on, and that's the whole point of the Catalyst project, as Dr. Weiser mentioned, is so that when you're taking your classes in downtown Spokane, that's where those companies actually are. And they wanted us downtown because they want our students, they want you. And that's a good thing to be if you're a student.
All right, awesome. Well, that's great to hear. So if you're a student, right, if you're one of the students kind of viewing us right now, and you're probably considering maybe Eastern or another school, you know, maybe one of the kind of more flagship schools in the state or even out of state, and a question rose into you thinking, would I get experience going to maybe a more mid-sized, small university like Eastern Well, looks like the question is going to be yes, right? You're going to get experience. You're going to get more than experience. You're going to get a lot more opportunities to kind of be able to kind of get that career that you've been thinking about. So don't underestimate what we're doing here at Eastern. I think we're really surprised a lot. And even for myself, I'm learning a lot more. So that's great to hear. Right now, I kind of want to just flip it back right to Marty, right? We have another question about the design department and computer science as well. And it looks like Josh wanted to know a little more about the different directions you can go with the 2 degrees between design and computer science. So anything you can kind of explain a little more to Josh?
Yeah, the design program, as Dave Bowman said, was it's very much art oriented. It's all the design, putting together the package, a media package. It includes a lot of technology. I mean, it's not just drawing stuff by hand. They start with a little bit of that, but an awful lot of computer graphics, things like that, and including doing animation and work like that. The computer science program, on the other hand, is a lot more of the background portion of it. They're not so much concerned about what does it look like, is it really pretty, and send the message to the people. That's the design group. Computer science is focused on making sure that people like the design folks can really utilize the package, can get that information out and make it user-friendly and such. One of the design aspects, though, is the user experience. How many of you have gone to a web page that you found impossible to use? Well, they're focused on how to make those web pages easy to navigate, attractive, bring you back in. So there's kind of a difference between computer science and design. They work a little together, but not a huge overlap.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear, right? Getting all the experience. And now since we're on that topic, I know I kind of wanted to flip it back with some of our students because they've been trying to hide in the background and I'm not going to let them. So before we answer some of the questions too, I wanted to focus a little more on them. And I know what it looked like. Chelsea wanted to kind of share a little more about some of the internship programs and seeing specifically what maybe she's doing that kind of ties in with all these. So Chelsea, anything you would want to share with that?
Yeah, so I it's a paid internship with the USGS. So I get paid to look at rocks all day, which is something that I'm very happy about. And I also work as a geology TA. So I work a lot with the 100 level students and I work a lot with the faculty as kind of a bridge between both of them. And these internships, they seem pretty daunting at first, but when I started the internship at USGS, I had taken 2 geology classes. And so being in these, throwing myself into this environment and just saying yes and learning along the way has been super beneficial. Like I'm in my upper division level classes right now, and I already know some of the stuff we're going over because I've learned it from people who have had real life experience in the field. And so I think just being open-minded, saying yes to things, even if you're a little bit scared or you're not really sure, and really talking to students around you also as well, because even in the geology department, we have a lot of students doing research. We have a lot of students that are working as internships, and so they have a lot of inside information. It's also been a bridge into student research. I've got 2 research projects I'm working on right now. Both of them I was going to present in Utah, but that got canceled because of all the things that are going on. But I work with soft sedimentary deformation with Chad, and I am also working with one of the researchers at the USGS, Dr. Alan Anderson. We are looking at the petrology of some rocks at Mineral Hill and in Wyoming and around that area. And so it's just been saying yes, learning along the way has really helped me jump into knowing more things about my degree than I thought I did before.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chelsea, for sharing about that. So even to a further degree, right? If you want to get experience, if you want to start getting maybe paid as a student, and maybe if you're interested in traveling, right? I've been hearing that they've been going to conferences and doing a lot out of state. If you're very interested in all of that, I think the C-STEM program can really give you a lot of those opportunities and open those doors for you. And now I kind of want to focus a little more on Christina, because I saw Chad kind of smiling a little bit when Chelsea was sharing some of that, I think as a proud, professor. So I kind of want to give Becky maybe the chance to kind of feel a little more proud for Christina. Christina, I know you talked a little bit more about the biology department, some of the jobs you maybe have or, kind of paid kind of experiences. You want to touch up a little more on that?
Yeah, definitely. So I want to talk a little bit about the Mcnair program and the summer internships that they offer. So during my time as an undergraduate, I actually participated in 2 research-intensive summer research internships that were paid. So they're 8-week internships in which I was paid. So the first project that I worked on was looking at intestinal permeability and how that impacts inflammation in the gut. And then another internship that I worked on was looking at dopamine reward circuitry in the brains of rats and doing some looking at dopamine neurotransmission and how that impacts motivated behavior. So there's lots of opportunities to receive paid internships at Eastern, as well as affiliated with the Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge. And a lot of students also do internships through Washington State University with the fishery science. And we also have like several different collaborators all over Eastern Washington in which students can get paid to work. And specifically in the biology department, students also have the opportunity to serve as a TA. So as an undergraduate, I TA'd several classes, and even now as a graduate student on a GSA appointment, I'm helping assist with upper level laboratory courses. Students have several opportunities to give back and kind of do some hands-on learning with students and learn a little bit different side or perspective of academia. And maybe Dr. Brown can talk a little bit more about the research or maybe some job opportunities with the biology department.
Nice. Well, as you can see, right, so I know like Marianne was asking more questions if there's like undergrad student jobs and all that though. So I think Christina shared a little more about that. But I kind of also want to maybe refer a little bit more back to like Becky, you know, like what opportunities or like what kind of positions available that are paid are available for students, I guess, within your department. You know, what I give you kind of opened up doors for some students. Would you be kind enough to share a little bit about that, Becky?
Sure, absolutely. We have a number of teaching internships that we offer students. They can either some students get paid to do those, and some students will do it and get credit. So directed study credit. And so those students are basically helping to lead discussion sections for intro biology classes. And it gives them a lot of experience learning how to interact with people, learning how to present information. We also have a number of different scholarship opportunities. So we have biotechnology scholarships and other scholarships in the department. We have the Turnbull Scholars program, which basically allows a student to get paid to do research over the summer in Turnbull on a independent research project. And then we have a number of faculty who have grants from, say, the NIH or NSF or tribes or Bonneville Power Association or various that pay students to do work on their projects. And so, you know, for example, I was able to hire students over the summer to send them to work on the Elwha River on the Olympic Peninsula, which was pretty exciting for them. And those students have gone on to be pretty successful afterwards.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. So I know this question was specifically for Marianne. So you're talking about you're transferring here maybe, and you're looking to kind of get something with biology departments. There's a lot of opportunities, right? And I think the first step is always kind of looking just to engage. Might take that first step and asking, hey, I want to kind of get involved more with my department or with some kind of research. What can I do? And I think that usually opens up the doors to more and more as the time goes on. So if you're kind of really considering it, I think, you know, we could definitely help you out here at Eastern. So I kind of want to refer back a little bit more now to Dr. Weiser. There was questions about the engineering department and robotics and you know, how they're related. So what clubs are related to the engineering and the robotics departments, and what engineering clubs, I guess, would you say are available to those students? Looks like you're muted, Dr. Weiser. There you go. We have the first culprit. No, there you go.
Pressing the space bar didn't work that time. Okay, the shortcut didn't work. We've got several clubs within the department. The big umbrella club for mechanical engineers is the American Society of Mechanical Engineering, and we house the robotics club within that. As I said, our focus is heavily on industrial robotics within the program. Probably got one of the best industrial robotics programs at the undergraduate level in the country. Most of the grad students that have gone out said is that we're far better than the places they're at, although they're doing really fancy robots like the jumping dog type stuff. But it says out of that club, they'll compete in a couple different competitions. Last year, we had a team that went to East Lansing, Michigan for an international competition where the goal was to build a hovercraft to do search and rescue, small one, a couple feet square. And they won. They beat out 40 or 50 other schools. They actually won all 3 categories, which was rather unique and really cool. Other programs we have a rocketry club within the department. I'm the mentor for that. We have an alternative energy club. We have visual communications design has a club, and the electrical engineering has an IEEE section, which does a lot of work. And some of that is within drones, not just using the drones as Chad said, but trying to program swarm drones and things like that to be able to do collaborative work. So we've got that type of thing. There's a lot of clubs throughout the rest of the college as well. I won't go into all those. I don't know all of them, but so getting involved in a club early on, your freshman year is really important. You don't have to be heavily involved, but get you involved. You get to know some of those upper division students and get a little better feel for the program that way. I really encourage it.
Awesome. It's great to hear a little more of what's kind of brewing over at Eastern, So like when you get started as a freshman, I know it can be intimidating, but I think getting involved in those clubs, whatever it is, right? Whether it's in the engineering departments or the STEM program, it's really going to help you kind of just get to know more people, make those friends, but also make those connections with those people, right? So it encompasses everything. You can start getting in a paid position, probably get experience, open those opportunities, make friends, and I think that's what college is really great, specifically at the STEM departments at Eastern, all right? But, Mr. Bowman, I know you've been kind of hiding over there in the background, so I'm not going to let you go. We had a question more about the chemistry and the forensic degree option at Eastern. Do you have any information about that, or something you can share with Connor, it looks like, because he's looking to kind of go more, as mentioning about the Washington State Patrol teaches the courses in that. What can you kind of tell Connor more about the program there?
Sure. So the State Crime Lab was actually built across the street from campus specifically so that they could collaborate with our programs in the STEM college. So there are a lot of different techniques that you use for the crime labs that are STEM focused. And the crime lab, it's kind of like CSI, except nothing like CSI. Real crime scene investigation is lab work. It's doing science. It's using analytical techniques, learning chemistry and biochemistry to analyze what's going on in the scene, to figure things out. It uses a lot of geology too. They really do look at like what the dirt is on somebody's heel to analyze where they've walked. All of those are tools that we teach in STEM, and that's one of the reasons why the crime lab is there. The program is actually housed in chemistry as an option within the chemistry degree, with an option to take classes in all the other disciplines. The crime lab employees who teach in our program tend to teach a lot of the biochemistry focused courses. And they are actually classes within the chemistry degree. And so that's one of the things that I think is really cool about that. These are people who are out there solving crimes, in a lab setting every day, and they're then coming in the afternoon and teaching a class and using actual lab experiences that they're taking right out of real crimes that you get to do, whether it's chemistry of blood or whatever. They're doing all these sorts of things, DNA analysis. This is all work that's done in the crime labs, and they come and bring it over and teach it here. There's also I should also mention there's a criminal science program on campus that's not in STEM, that is in the College of Social Sciences. And the criminal sciences is a little bit more on the sort of enforcement side. Those are oftentimes people who may actually have a gun. The real CSI people that work in the crime lab don't. And so the crime investigation, they will work a lot and do courses and activities with the forensic sciences students. And they actually have a room in one of the buildings on campus that's set up as a crime lab, or as a crime scene, that they can go in and have mock crimes that they can go in and try to investigate. It's pretty cool, actually. So I hope that answers your question.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot, David. And just to all the viewers, right, all the students kind of joining us here today, just keep in mind, right, a lot of these experiences and opportunities that you encounter, a lot of this from what I'm hearing, I think, and maybe, you know, Dr. Bowman can kind of correct me, but a lot of this is within undergraduate sometimes, and even like a little bit to the master's. So you're getting a lot of experience as, you know, starting as sophomore, junior, senior, right? Chelsea mentioned how she's a junior kind of going through that. So you get a lot of that stuff at age 20, 21. Whereas maybe other schools, all that's kind of, you know, given to a lot of the master students or PhD. So if you really want to do a lot of that at a younger age and you feel you're prepared and you want to have fun and you want to be engaged, Eastern is definitely going to be a great spot for you. And you have all these great people here to kind of walk with you and kind of just get you through the ropes and kind of help you to the future. All right. So
Dan, can I follow on that?
Yeah, sure thing.
So Dan's totally right. That's one of the things that's different about being at Eastern. If you go to any other school, there's a lot of research happens at every university. What's different about Eastern is we don't have PhD programs here, and that's good for you because that means that work that the faculty are doing, their research, and they have to do research for their job. That research that they're doing it with you. They're doing it with undergrads, not just 21-year-olds, 18-year-olds. Anybody can get involved in a research project. And I cannot urge you strongly enough to get in early and often. I'll tell you that personally, me, getting involved in the research is what set my career path. I did not start out my career as a student, as a geology major. I didn't even know what geology was. I started out as an astronomy major. And was really had an interest in planetary geology, and I said, oh well, Earth is a planet, maybe I should take a geology class, and it totally changed my life. And part of that was because I got involved with a faculty member who taught that class, and got me engaged with doing undergraduate research, and it set me in a totally new direction in my life, and I'm ever grateful for that. So yes, absolutely, Adana is right. You have those opportunities, and you should grab them. That's what makes Eastern special.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Kind of going a little more depth about like your personal experience. And I think everyone's kind of really happy and, I think very thankful to kind of hear more about that. We have another question, right? I think we had a question about the workload and degrees. I think Connor kind of want to know more about that if this is very stressful. And I know Jackie's been hiding in the shadows a little more, over there on the beach side. I think she's just really kind of soaking in the sun. But I really want to take the time for have Jackie answer more about what's the rigor, right? What's the load of work that students are going to encounter being a C-STEM major at Eastern?
Great, I'm happy to answer this question. I think it's a great question because you need to know what to expect when you get here. But science, technology, engineering, and math degrees at any university are a lot of work. They really are. But I think why we stand out here at Eastern is we provide a lot of support, and that support comes in a couple of different ways. One way is through faculty advising. Get to know your faculty members. We have small classes, and just asking your faculty member, how do I learn in your class? What should I do? Go see them in their office hours. That's why we all love teaching here, is because we have small classes and can get to know our students. The other way has to do with all these questions about clubs. In the last 5 years, Dean Bowman has really pushed and supported strong student clubs, really strong student clubs. And as students come in and get to know students who are ahead of them by a year or two in their programs, they learn, where are the challenging courses? What do I need to do to prepare for those classes? Who do I find that's gonna help me do better? And then they also get to look at all that exciting stuff that's going on that keeps them motivated when it gets really hard. But careers in STEM are challenging. So coursework to prepare you well for those careers, we have to be challenging. You can also work with your advisor to not take too much on any given quarter, to spread things out. You should be starting in your STEM classes your very first quarter at Eastern and mixing it up with some easier gen ed classes. So work with your advisor, tell them whenever you're feeling stressed, tell your faculty members whenever you're stressed, and be good friends with other people in your majors.
All right, well, thank you, Jackie. I think maybe students kind of get a little idea of what the transition will be from coming from high school to college, and not to be too scared or timid of what to do, but also to kind of be prepared for success. And I think you did a really great job at kind of summarizing that up. All right. And another person who's kind of been, hiding behind everyone here, but I'm not going to let get away, is we have Chad. We actually have a student Robin asking more about the geology majors and what research outside of Cheney there is to do. So Chad, you mind answering that a little more?
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, as Dr. Dave Bowman mentioned, geology is not something that people take in high school, so it's not often a major you come into university to take. It's mostly in middle school, and we all love middle school, I'm sure. I'm not kind of blocked it out. So I actually came in as a forestry major originally too, because I love trees and hiking, and then just realized that geologists are the coolest people on the planet. And so that's where I sort of geared myself to, not that I'm saying I'm the coolest, yeah. I mean, just, so the research that we do a lot of the times is pretty focused. We had a Mcnair scholar 2 years ago, worked up in Chewelah area, which is one of the larger copper areas, silver and tungsten mining back in the past. And we went and did some kind of nice innovative research looking at zircons. They're like small little grains that are very resistant. And so what we can do is we can shoot those with lasers and figure out how old those zircons are. And so the student grabbed 15 samples and made a beautiful distribution curve for each sample. We made a database as to what those rocks should look like. That paper just came out in Canadian Journal of Science, or it's about to come out in Canadian Journal of Science. So this student is a published author, Mcnair scholar, got paid over the summer, also had an internship, now works with some of my friends that have a consultant company in town, pretty big consultant company. And he's even working through the COVID. He's isolated, kind of, but he's still doing geology out in the field. He's looking at groundwater issues. And so that was outside the Cheney area. We also go to San Juan Islands. We'll probably start working there more because we work with the national parks in that area. We'll start working a lot more with Hanford, and we have worked with Hanford quite a bit down the Tri-Cities area, Yakima area. If you've noticed, there's hills in the Yakima area. Turns out that's where the ground, and this takes immense stress, it's huge, where the ground is actually buckled on itself, causing a thrust fault. That gives us these south-facing slopes that are great for growing plants of different types, a lot of them for grape juice of various ages, not that we condone that at Eastern. But these thrust faults are huge, and we now know that they're probably less than 3 million years old and very active. So you know about earthquakes, if anybody felt the earthquake about 2 weeks ago, it was at March 30th, I think, there was a 6.5 in Idaho. We studied those kind of faults and earthquakes, and we know that they're gonna happen in this area. A few years ago, in 2001, there was 400 earthquakes in Spokane, the Spokane earthquake swarm. And when the USGS came to Spokane, they worked with us, and we had students out in the field. We used LIDAR, laser swath mapping, to give us nanometer scale mapping of the surface to figure out where the earth ruptured. We had planes go over looking at magnetometry, how the magnetic field of the earth actually changes during the earthquake swarm. And so the students were working with that. So I would like to say we go off and work with Jackie Coombs out there on the beautiful beaches, but there's just so much to do in Spokane that a lot of our research is out in the field, getting hands dirty, getting paid, working with professionals on local geology. And hopefully we'll continue to go out. Silver Valley is another huge one. We have a lot of students that work for the largest silver deposit in the world, is Kellogg, Wallace, Idaho area. And we have a lot of students that done internships with Hecla Mining. We go out on field trips all the time. We work a lot with Idaho Geologic Survey folks for mapping and doing field trips. And then in 2024, so the class coming in now, if you were to take 4 years, in 2024, we'll have a Geological Society of America meeting in Spokane being hosted by Geology Department of Eastern Washington University. And so in that situation, I would love to see our students have publications on field trips, present posters, even take control of their own small sessions for posters and talks. So geology in the area is just, it's on the up and up.
Thank you, Chad, for sharing a lot about that. As you can kind of tell from everyone's voices here, I think it's excitement. Everyone's excited to kind of help you. Everyone's excited to kind of do what they're doing in their field. And if that's something you want to join and be a part of, hop on board. We want to make sure that we have everyone kind of jump in and kind of get their hands dirty, right? Get stuff doing and really kind of just progress yourself in life, because they're doing research, they're kind of just doing more as they elevate themselves, and we want to make sure that you can be taken to the next level just as much. All right. We had another question, specifically, I know one of our students, Christina, wanted to answer more about some of the sources or some of the resources and student services that we have available for students. So kind of touching up on before, if you need help, right, if you're going through college, what can you get? Christina, can you tell them more about that?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about some of the resources that I'm aware of that I use as an undergraduate here at Eastern. So some of the resources that we have on campus are affiliated with the library. That's the Writer Center or PLUS. So PLUS is the program leading to university success. So the PLUS program allows for tutoring opportunities that are one-on-one or they're small group settings. So you'll be paired with someone who has already taken the class and excelled in that class, and they will help you with any of the challenges you're facing in some of those courses, which is very useful for some of those chem courses such as physics, or excuse me, some of those STEM courses such as physics or chemistry or different math as well. In addition, so I mentioned the Writing Center. So the Writing Center has a lot of MFA students as well as different faculty members who have a strong background in writing, and they're there to help you with any of the essays or scholarship applications or job opportunities applications that you guys are working on. Then they can offer you some feedback and help you enhance those writing skills. There's also, we have the Disability Student Support Services as well to help students that may have any challenges in the classroom, and our faculty are very proactive and engaging and welcoming to be able to help those students. In addition, there's also the Counseling and Psychology Service, or CAPS. So CAPS is available for you to go talk with the student counselor if you're having any kind of mental health issues, or you kind of just want to talk to someone about some of the challenges that you're going through during your time as a student. So keep in mind that there's also several different resources that can be found through a lot of our websites, and I'm sure many of the other faculty here could shed some light on any other resources that are available. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Christina. You know, sometimes you forget of what there's all to offer as help rather than opportunities, right? Because you have so endless many of opportunities. You also realize sometimes you got to get through that, right? With your studying, your homework, maybe some exams. So there's going to be a lot to help students here. So we're kind of wrapping this up a little bit more because I know our time is coming close to an end. But we have one last question, and Alan, looks like your question is that chosen last one. And we have no one else but David Bowman here to answer that. So Bowman, how about you answer him about question about software engineering before we head out?
Sure. Software engineering is actually part of the computer science program. That's probably the largest focus of our computer science program. It's an area of high demand. It's part of the reason why we're moving into the Catalyst building is because there's a lot of software engineering programs in Spokane, and this is giving them direct access to them. The software engineers, they're doing programming, but they're also doing things you wouldn't think of. One of the reasons that we're partnering with Avista so strongly with the move downtown for computer science is because things like smart grids, if you're going to have solar power, if you're going to have more renewable energy, you need to have a smart electrical grid. That's software engineering at its core, to be able to balance the load, because you need to make sure that people get electricity if the sun's not shining. And that's really a software engineering problem. And so that's part of the reason we have that close relationship with Avista. It's a good program, it's a focus of the degree, and it's all within computer science. Thank you all, and I'm just going to say thanks everyone for joining in. Really appreciate it, both the panelists and all the students, for your great questions.
Yeah, we want to make sure, thank you to all the 17, 18 students that were joining us here today. We might do this again in the future. You know, tell us how this went for us. You know, and if you have any friends or family that are probably interested, or, you know, you want to convert to a STEM major, maybe convert them to a geology or biology major, you know, invite them next time, you know. So keep a lookout on your email. We might send out more invites regarding to do these. And if you had a great time, thanks. Let us know what you thought about this. But at this time, I want to make sure that we have everyone can unmute themselves and give you a farewell and get through this quarantine right after us, all right? So thank you for all joining us one time again, and we'll just wave you all goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for coming
Bye.
Thank you.